Welcome to the Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for the Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
The advances in medicine have been astounding over the past few years, but that's nothing compared to what we're about to see. So, in fact, predictions are that the new wave of medicine will have us living past 100.
We'll all be geezers.
We will all be geezers, yes. Today we're going to be going over some of these advances and discuss their implications. Later in the show, Miss Metaverse Kate Aquino will also be weighing in the conversation. At the control panel, producer extraordinaire, Jim Walsh.
Hiya.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Cold.
Yeah.
Another blustery day. Kind of hits you like a slap in the puss.
It does. So you've been following the landing on the comet?
Well, I've got a story which we're going to get to hopefully later on this hour about the feminist reaction. Have you heard about this?
Well,
all the feminists, the hardcore feminists getting worked up because the guy who designed this thing, he was wearing a shirt with scantily clad women all over it. And they thought that was the important story to them.
So not landing on the comet, which when you think about that is amazing.
It is.
I mean, it's not like we sent a spaceship. And by the way, this was the European Space Council that did this. It wasn't a NASA
I don't care who
project.
did it. It's pretty cool.
Well, I agree. I'm just saying that it wasn't a NASA project. Although I think NASA, as I'm reading through it, NASA had a lot of help. You know, they helped
I'm
a lot
sure
with this,
there was a lot of American hands involved in the project.
But you think about, we landed on the moon 40 plus years ago or whatever it is now.
America.
Yeah, it's a long time ago when you think about it.
Hell yeah.
But the ability to land on a comet, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small rock.
Hit a moving target. Yeah.
I mean, you literally are. You're hitting, I mean, not like the moon isn't moving too, but it's a big thing.
You're hitting a big rock that's basically flying through space at about 17,000 miles an hour.
It's incredible.
Very fast.
And, they travel, and on top of it, they had to travel 317 million miles just to meet up with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about, somebody had to pick the rock they were going to go after.
Yeah.
There's lots of comets to pick from, so you had to pick a rock. And you said, we're going to design a spaceship that can go there, launch another craft that's going to descend from the ship and land on this thing.
Well, the Americans were always the leaders in guidance. That's what makes me think there were some American minds involved.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I read a book once, a guy, I won't go into the whole story here, but he was a guy in radio who was a big programmer in New York, and he wrote a book about his experiences. And in 1969, he and his family went to Florida to watch the moon launch.
Okay.
And they got into a conversation with some old guys on the beach who turned out to be old Germans who were part of von Braun's crew.
Oh, wow.
And they told him that if you want to really know why this thing works, talk to the guidance people. They said that's why we got to the moon and Russia didn't, because after the war, we got all the guidance people. They got all the propulsion people.
Okay.
Russia took a very strong early lead because they had the propulsion people in their camp.
Right.
But we had the guidance people, which meant that we were the ones, that's why we were the ones who got to the moon.
Right. Very interesting.
Yes.
So do you think 40 years from now, people are going to be saying, I hold more power in the palm of my hand, referring to their devices, than what it took to land a craft on the meteor?
Oh, I remember in the early 70s, people making jokes about the future when we would all be like the Jetsons. And the idea that you'd be walking around in the summer of 2000, whenever, and you have some little tiny little micro dot, you just pop it into your ear and listen to hours upon hours of music.
And we're
David Bowie oldies or whatever.
Yeah. And you think about, what were the couple of movies that came out 10 or 12 years ago about landing on, an asteroid was going to crash into the Earth.
Oh, right. Well, there was two movies that
came out.
There was,
almost at the same time, almost.
There was the one with Morgan Freeman as the president.
Right.
That was cool because Morgan Freeman was the president.
Of course, yeah.
And there was the one with Bruce Willis, which was kind of noisy and tacky. And,
Yep.
That was the one that everybody hated. Although I saw it, it was not the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Right. But, you think about it. Here we are 10 or 12 years later, and we're actually landing on one.
Uh-huh.
Unbelievable.
Again, Arthur C. Clarke was ahead of the curve because in one of his books, he wrote about an expedition to Halley's Comet. the idea was he was also theorizing about cold. Remember the whole cold fusion thing?
Yep.
When they were talking about that, and the idea was that while you're in space, if you're going to do cold fusion, you need water. And what better source for water than a comet?
Than a comet, yep.
So if there's a comet nearby, in this book, these guys in the spaceship, they actually landed on Halley's Comet to get some of the water for their cold fusion.
Interesting. It does, lend some credence, though, to the fact that we're probably able to protect our planet a little bit better.
Yeah, but none of that matters, Marlo, because the guy was wearing a shirt with women in bikinis. He was wearing a sexist T-shirt, and that's all anybody really cares about. He's a sexist pig.
You're actually serious about this? They were more concerned about the shirt than they were about his accomplishments.
I wish I was kidding. I know it sounds like something out of The Onion. I will get to the story in a few minutes here. Yeah, they had that one press conference where they saw this guy come out wearing the goofy-looking shirt.
See, I didn't watch that.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got a
Unbelievable.
picture of it. We'll look at it. And it's online. It's all over the internet if you know where to look.
Unbelievable. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, that just amazes me that, I suppose if he came out wearing no clothes at all, that would probably be one thing, but interesting.
Actually, I think the geezer has a version of that shirt. But the last time he wore it, it didn't work out too well. They had to take him in a Justin's pacemaker.
Since he has a pacemaker.
Yeah,
that's
he kept saying something about Betty Grable. Betty Grable on my shirt.
Well, anyway, we are going to be talking about medical advances as well. Kate just sent me a bunch of stuff about 3D printing. So we'll get into the
Excellent.
3D printing side of that after she joins us in a few minutes. Let's talk a little bit about nanobots. Now, you and I have discussed
tiny,
about these.
teeny-weeny.
Yes.
Fantastic voyage.
1/millionth of I forget what the nano actually
Of
stands.
a million inches.
I'm going to guess that 1/millionth of a centimeter is what a nano is. So,
okay.
so that's how small.
It's very tiny.
Yep.
Very tiny little thing.
And it's amazing what we're going to be seeing with nanobots. The first one is basically cancer.
Yeah, I was thinking cancer. What a great idea to have something that would actually go in physically and zap your cancer.
Yeah, how it works, believe it or not, they've actually they're already testing this stuff.
Would have little tiny laser beams and
Well, it actually works in a kind of a reverse way. They find the tumor.
Yeah.
And then there's some type of mechanism on the outside of the body that heats these up. So they go find the tumor, so like a microwave type of deal, and only that particular area will heat up, okay? And I guess when the tumor gets to 130 some degrees, it'll die.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on television.
I was just researching this as to why this was so important. So they're able to actually basically fry the tumor with nanobots.
I understand they're going to do a remake of that movie, Fantastic Voyage.
Really?
And Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to play the tumor. And they're going to have him say, "I'm not a tumor."
I'll be back.
I just made that up.
That's the ending of this segment. Yeah. I'll be back. Come on back, everybody. We'll continue our discussion in a moment.
Right now, 9 above.
Our own radio station. Not Fargo, not the Twin Cities. Proud to be Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or thetechranch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
Hey, and we want to thank all the people who are following us across the country and around the world on the Blueberry Network. Thank you. You're going to have to get a longer list now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, since there's more than one person that follows us now. That's a cool thing. The Tech Podcast Network, if it's Tech, it's here. We're on there. Tuned in, of course. You can catch us on Tuned In. And, of course, our own app, Radio Pup. So all kinds of places you can follow the Tech Ranch after the show here. Talking a little bit about medical stuff today. Josie Blaine was in last week.
Josie, we love Josie.
We do, and of course,
if I wasn't married, I wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell. I don't even know why I bring it up.
But she, of course, took over our show last week, which is okay.
That's fine.
Love that when that happens.
Josie has a way of doing that, doesn't she?
She does.
She occupies a room.
She really does. She really does. But I didn't get a chance.
It's not a joke about her weight because she's not she's a very trim. She works out, obviously.
Obviously,
she's a very trim young lady.
Yeah, absolutely. But didn't get a chance.
I just keep digging myself deeper, don't I?
You really do.
Sorry.
And Josie, if you're listening, I guess I don't even know what to say about Jim's infatuation here, but I'm getting him in trouble here now, actually. Yeah. So I'm going to stop there, too, because I'm digging your hole even bigger there, Jim. So anyway, couple of sites that we didn't get to last week, or we kind of mentioned them a little bit. GooboSpot, that was kind of my website pick of the week last week, goobospot.com. Looking for some great holiday gift items or whatever. I just think they have a real cool layout to their website.
Yeah.
Pet furniture, software, smartphones, gift cards, all kinds of cool stuff there. So check that out, goobospot.com. I'll be linking that on thetechranch.com. Rocket tags, Jim, I actually grabbed a photo for you.
Oh.
So you get a better understanding about what it is. It's actually a tag that you put on your phone. It's got a QR code on it. Okay.
Very nice.
So what happens is if you lose, you put this tag on your luggage, on your phone, on your laptop, whatever. And if you happen to lose it and somebody else finds it, they can scan that QR code, and that will allow... It doesn't give the person who found it your information. You just allow rocket tags to contact the owner after somebody's been scanned it, and the two then can talk about how they would collect that item. Is how it works. So it's pretty cool. Don't have to worry about your phone. If your phone went dead or whatever, you still have a way where a person can get a hold of you with it. So it's rockettags.com. Go check that out. And, of course, we're talking about medical stuff today and the Ebola outbreakmap.com. Ebola outbreakmap.com. Got to go check that out as well. Of course, we had some more Ebola news over the weekend. Didn't we have? I think that doctor passed away, didn't he?
Second fatality. It was,
right.
That doctor, yeah.
Right. So it's kind of sad news in that regard, because I think he was actually from that particular part of the world. He went over there to help, and of course became inflicted with Ebola as well, and has now since passed. And I think they're monitoring a bunch of people in Minnesota now.
Really?
That's on this map, by the way. So that's why I'm bringing this up. You got to go check out EbolaOutbreakMap.com.
Let's put it in perspective here. Right now, we're talking about 2 people.
Right.
2 people who died.
Right.
Okay, compare that with what will probably happen, and I'm not making a joke here.
Yep.
Please don't think of that. But this winter, we know that several thousand people will probably die from the flu.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Many of whom because they just didn't bother to get the shot.
That's correct. And you think about, if you're concerned about the flu, there are actually flu outbreak maps as well. You can actually type that into Google and track that, but there is one for Ebola as well. So if you're concerned about that a little bit, kind of a fun thing to, maybe not fun is not the right word, but
no, it's not fun.
And interesting.
Enlightening, informative.
There you go. I like those words better, enlightening and informative, so to go check that out. So, and back to our medical discussions, one of the big things I think we're going to be finding is devices that scan, Jim. So basically what will happen, there's a device called Scanadu, and that's just like it sounds, Scanadu.
Scanadu.
I knew you were going to do that.
Now that stupid movie with Olivia.
Well, the movie was kind of stupid. I don't mind the music from it so much.
The music was good.
Yeah.
ELO and Olivia and
exactly.
Magic, her song,
yes.
which was a big hit.
But the movie was a disaster, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Gene Kelly was in it.
Really?
Gene Kelly doing disco, I think. And I think he and Olivia had a scene. And, of course, Gene Kelly is Gene Kelly, but Olivia, she's easy on the eyes, but I can't imagine she's that much of a dancer.
We'll have to go check that out again. I forgot that Gene Kelly was in that movie.
Gene Kelly was in that movie.
Very cool. But anyway, Scanadu is a device that scans your vitals. So if you want, it's something you can just go purchase, or soon we'll be able to purchase, scan your temperature, your blood pressure, your heart rate. And, of course, it records these to wherever you want to record it to, and then you can send that to your doctor or what have you. So they have a better idea about what's going on with your body, at certain times of day or whatever.
Yeah.
And this will be, as this technology moves forward, it will scan more and more things. So think about it this way. If sometime in the future you were to get a notification from your body because you have nanobots in it, that will tell you.
We got a problem down here.
That's exactly what I'm getting to, though. That's exactly right. So, and that future is not that far off. the nanobots that might be in your body or whatever may actually contact your smartphone and say, hey, you're 2 weeks away from having a heart attack. You need to get into the doctor to see them now.
That sounds like an old, some old comedy bit that one of those old comedians like Norm Crosby or somebody would do. Like, put me through to the nasal cavity.
Hi, this is the nasal cavity speaking.
You and I can go on the show or on the road now as the nanobots.
Yeah.
We can pretend, hey, you got a problem down here, man. But that's what we're talking about here.
Yep.
The future, your body may actually be talking to your smart devices about what's going on.
Yeah.
And will actually convey that information to your doctor. And, it might be, it's kind of weird when you think
Convey
about
it directly to the doctor, to the doctor's computer.
Yes. Yeah.
Or
Or
pops
to the,
up, problem with Jim's pancreas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So it's very interesting what's going on with this. And that's why they actually are talking now about the possibility of the average lifespan increasing dramatically because they'll actually be proactive with diagnosis as opposed to waiting until you have a heart attack and doing something about it at that time.
I read somewhere they're saying now the life expectancy, if you're alive today, you could conceivably live as long as 120.
Yeah.
Which would make us all almost as old as the tech geezer.
Yes. Thank goodness that he's...
I resemble that remark. Thank you, Geese.
How many new tickers has he had? Pacemakers has he had?
Oh, I don't know.
A few. He's been from the early models to now. So, and speaking of tickers,
he had a Flintstones pacemaker. With a little bird on the conveyor belt.
Somebody had to. Oh, that's clever. Speaking of heart, though, the and 3D printing, and I see that Kate didn't mention this.
Yeah.
There was actually not too long ago they used a 3D printed version of a heart to perform surgery. So what they did is they scanned this infant's heart. The infant had holes in her heart, okay? They scanned it. They printed a model of it so that the doctors could examine the heart, the model of the heart, before they went into surgery. Because a lot of times, until they crack open your chest, they have no clue what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay? This model allowed them to actually almost practice the procedure before they went in, which is very cool. And they actually attribute it to saving this infant's life.
Amazing.
So it is
Science
amazing.
Fiction.
It is. It really is. So these are the things that are starting to happen that we're starting to see. Looking through all. Go ahead.
I was going to say the last time I had surgery, it was when I broke my wrist. You see the scar on my wrist here. They had to go in and fix the bone there.
Yep.
And I realized then how much things were advancing because of the anesthesia.
Okay.
It's not like the old days where they do gas you once you're under, but the drugs they use to put you under are fabulous. Seriously.
They really are.
They got stuff today that'll put you on the dark side of the moon, baby.
And you just wake up from it and you're repaired.
It was actually a pleasant experience.
Oh, my goodness.
I came out of it feeling like I had just awakened from a long dream. It was like a long, dreamless nap. That's how it felt to me.
Interesting.
Which is certainly different from before when, the old days. But I felt like I was waking up from a nap. I opened my eyes and went, oh, we're done. Cool. Oh, okay.
Unbelievable.
I'm not saying I was ready to get right up and walk home, but,
Yep. And, you think about repairs of bones and that type of thing. Again, nanobots are going to start playing a role in that. There are actually new adhesives that have been developed.
Little stints and things they put in your body to hold things together.
And it'll just hold it together until your body can repair it by itself. So amazing what's going on there. Another thing with cancer, too, is new development called immunotherapy.
Immunotherapy.
Think of your immune system.
Right.
Okay. This treatment actually enhances your own immune system to break through and fight cancer. So, and that's actually being tested right now, too, and has had some very, very good results. So I expect that, we may be moving away from the days of chemotherapy.
I hope so.
I really do, too.
That stuff is horrible.
It is terrible.
What about for the kidneys? Let's do something with the kidneys for dialysis people, because those people go through hell.
They do.
They really. Not making a joke here. I've had several friends in my life who had to do that, and it's just a hellish experience.
Well, since that there's a 3D printer that is printing a liver right now.
Yeah.
I can imagine that might not be that far away. So after the break, everybody, Miss Metaverse Kate Aquino will be joining the conversation. So come on back.
Right now, 9 above.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at 2, only on Super Talk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Hello again, everyone. Howard Cosell. Speaking of technology, I'm talking what it was, what it is, what it never was meant to be. Cassius Marcellus Clay, now known as Muhammad Ali, and a certain former Joe Willie name. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
That is absolutely amazing that you can do that.
I just get on the Howard Jag every once in a while.
That's cool. That's very cool. You know, and we'll have to hopefully figure out a way to dig you out of the hole that we dug you into a little earlier.
Yeah, I saw Howard speak one time. We'll talk about that. Not today, but it's for another time and place.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. All right, on the phone, everybody, Miss Metaverse, Kate Aquino. Kate, how you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
We're absolutely doing fine, as you can tell. So we're in a caffeinated stupor right now, I think. So we are talking about health, medicine, and technology, and you just posted a great article at futuristmm.com about the future health and 3D printing. And I've been saving my 3D printing discussion for you. So we're going to let you lead the conversation, and I'm going to ask you questions this time. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
All right. So take it away, Kate.
All right. So, 3D printing is really just changing the whole healthcare world. And, when we think about 3D printing, we usually think about all the fashion jewelry that we see out there, and we see those, little tiny bobbleheads at conventions. But we don't really get to talk about a lot of the really cool things that 3D printing is allowing us to do, which is basically helping people fight cancer and helping people that are disabled be able to function, in ways that they never thought would be possible, it's so exciting.
It really is. So can you give us some examples of how 3D printing is changing the way that maybe, if somebody is disabled or has a disability, that all of a sudden they're able to, function better in today's world?
Yeah, so a couple months ago, I went to the Maker Faire at the New York Hall of Science.
Okay.
And one of the vendors that I met there was this company. It's actually an organization known as Enabling the Future. And they're a global organization that helps offer a helping hand by providing 3D printers and free designs to print prosthetic hands and other body parts around the world for a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the time as getting, normal prosthetic hands. And it was so amazing to meet with this organization because they were so passionate about what they were doing. And I was able to go and actually meet the people that are running this organization and interact with the prosthetic hands. And it was amazing. It really was. It's incredible what they're doing.
So are they actually providing 3D printers to third world countries and that type of thing to allow this to happen?
Yes, exactly. A lot of places around the world where, they don't have access to the type of medical system that we have, they're actually sending these 3D printers and free designs so people will be able to help whole villages to, being able to help themselves with these prosthetic hands. It's really fascinating.
We are actually entering a bionic time, are we not?
We are.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So keep going with the 3D printing possibilities.
Right. So another company, which is Fripp Design Research, they make fully customizable ears and noses for accident victims. And it's really incredible what they're doing because people are now being able to 3D print whole faces, whole facial features, like a whole nose, and actually restore that original look that you had. So if, God forbid, something happened, and you had lost a nose or an ear, companies like Fripp Design and Research are able to use 3D printers to recreate the nose or ear that you had and actually give it to you within 48 hours.
Go ahead. I thought you had a question.
No.
Okay,
I'm just thinking we're going to make a Michael Jackson joke, but no. No.
So do they?
I got a new nose.
Do they actually take a look at an old photo maybe that you have, and they're able to recreate your nose or your ear from that?
Yeah, that's what it seems like they're doing. There's a lot of different ways of doing it, depending on, let's say if you are having a condition where your nose is deteriorating, and this is happening a lot with cancer victims as well, because 3D printing is allowing cancer victims who are about to undergo surgery, some who may have to have maybe a portion of their nose removed or their ear, or even a whole titanium hip bone was created recently in China. A doctor used 3D printing to create a titanium hip bone to replace a 62-year-old woman's hip, which was ridden with cancer, and she was in a lot of pain. So when it comes to big surgeries like that, where you have to remove a very large portion of bone, typically our body will undergo a lot of trauma from removing this type of bone. So by replacing it with a metal like titanium, which is the least likely to react with our human body, this actually helps these patients recover 3 times as fast and prevent having to suffer complications or even die.
Unbelievable. It really is. So are they same type of thing here? We were talking about the nose and the ear or whatever, but they do a scan of your body. Maybe they take a look at your other hip or whatever, and they can actually, the nice thing about this, as opposed to making or putting in a hip that's been manufactured maybe 4 or 6 sizes or whatever it is that they have to do, they can custom make these things so they fit better right away.
Yes, what they did for this woman in China is they used her CT scans to actually recreate her whole pelvis, and they actually made a completely custom fit for her. And the same goes for these other patients around the world. Depending on what their problem is, they'll be able to use different types of scans or be able to actually do a live 3D scan. And now there's even a 3D scanner that can attach to an iPad, and you can actually recreate, parts of your face, or you can actually recreate your whole face using this clip-on 3D scanner, which is amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And of course, they're using 3D printers now for grafting skin for burn victims, which I think is phenomenal. And we're going to see the day of grafts, from another part of your body, for example, to cover a burn that you might have on your body, to just this 3D printer creating this particular skin that needs to be replaced or whatever, and just absolutely amazing what's going on there too. And what about organs? Have you been following the organ printing?
The organ printing?
Like for like for livers or that type of thing.
Oh, yes, it's definitely happening right now. It's that stem cells are a huge part of the research that's undergoing right now with 3D printing. I know that there is a company out west, I believe in California, that is working with 3D printing DNA, which is just incredible, because obviously there are some issues where how far they can go in doing certain kinds of research, but I think there's a lot of really promising studies that they're doing right now. And I think that being able to 3D print these stem cells or be able to grow parts is going to be huge. It's all part of a process. 3D printing means a lot more than just plastics or titanium. Now we're able to 3D print all types of things. And as we're seeing, like what Marla just said, is we'll soon be able to be 3D printing whole organs. And that's going to be just so incredible.
Well, and you think about, if you're on an organ waiting list, the day of being on that list may be over, in a very short period of time here, because these advances are moving so quickly. Right.
Definitely. I think that right now, I dealt with it personally. My father, he had liver cancer, and they had him on a waiting list for 2 months, and he passed away. And it's so sad. It's unbelievable how long people have to wait for these kind of for the donors and for everything. I just really hope that we find a good way to provide these kind of 3D printed organs that are safe and and are effective and everyone can agree with, and I hope it happens soon.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, hopefully the regulations stay up to date. Like, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this with the advances in the technology, because one of the challenges that we have, and I always pick on like drones and autonomous vehicles or whatever, but there are very few regulations with this technology right now, so it's basically illegal because there's nothing that governs this. Hopefully, our government can keep up with what's going on in the advances of 3D printing.
Absolutely. I think that as they do more research about being able to bioprint this human tissue and really just fine-tune what they're working with, I think it'll be rolling out really fast. And with all these technologies, what we're seeing right now is part of this huge, huge shift that right now we're getting everyone used to the whole benefits of 3D printing and these exoskeletons and all these. It's all in the healthcare field. I think healthcare is where it's needed the most and the most quickest way. And I think that the way that it's happening so quickly, I think is actually really great.
All right. Yeah, and we just have a couple seconds for the break. Talk real quick about the future of birth control. Yeah, we're changing mindsets right now, Kate. So yes.
All right, the future of birth control. Actually, this is one of my favorite ones out of all the topics. So when it comes to the future of birth control, right now, it's the worst having to be a woman and take a pill every single day. And it happens all the time where women forget to take the pill, and then the next day you have to double up on hormones. And the hormones, there's something about it. It really just messes with you.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't react like that, but me personally, I had tried it a couple times, and it just, honestly, it just really, it's really tough on the body.
And I think I'm going to stop you right there, Kate, because we're going to have to go to a break real quick here. So we'll just put you on hold just for a second. We'll continue the conversation after the break, everybody. So come on back and listen to what Kate has to say about the future of birth control as far and also exoskeletons. So we'll see you shortly.
Right now, 12.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at 2, only on Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And welcome back to the comedic stylings of Jim and Marlo.
Thank you. Be here all week.
More commonly known as the Nano bots.
Be sure and try the shrimp scampi. It's fabulous.
I can see us going on the road, Jim.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring Kate in, too. We'll have to call her Miss Nanobot.
Yeah.
Miss Nanobot.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Miss Metaverse Kate Aquino is online. We are talking about... I have no clue what we're talking about.
We're talking about birth control.
Thank you very much, and the advances going on there. So, Kate, take it away.
All right, so back to birth control. All right, so as we know, ladies and gentlemen, birth control is a topic that is sort of a pain in the you-know-what. So let's discuss where we're headed in the future of birth control. So what's really interesting is that male birth control has been something that people have been wondering if will ever be made, and there's actually finally it's an injectable, reversible male birth control that's going to be released in 2018, hopefully. I recently wrote a blog post about why birth control for men is the future, and there's a lot of reasons why male birth control might actually be very promising because it's hormone-free, and as I was saying before, hormones can mess with a lot of people in different ways, and I think that, being able to find these safe hormone-free alternatives might be very promising in the future. So there's a clinical trial being started within the next few months or to the new year that's working with basal gel, Basalgel. And basal gel is this injectable and reversible gel that actually, is injected in men, and it dissolves away, and it's actually a reliable form of birth control. And so far, there was a lot of trials with baboons, and with these male baboons, they actually discovered that these male baboons were not making the female baboons pregnant by using this gel. So there you go. Looks very promising.
So
And
is this just a one-time injection then, Kate, or how does that work?
I think it's not permanent. So I believe you probably have to get injected every 6 months. Is
Okay.
what it sounds like.
Okay.
There is something similar to it right now, but I think it's a permanent gel that's injected, and it's a non-surgical vasectomy is what it's called right now. But this is a totally different type of gel. This one actually dissolves within 6 months, and it's very temporary, and it seems to have better results in the long term. So we'll see.
So what about the microchip possibility here with birth control?
Right. So here's something really interesting. So the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation invests in a lot of healthcare technologies, and one of them is called microchips. Microchips is a Massachusetts-based drug delivery implant developer, and this company has actually made these small microchips that are inserted under the skin, and they deliver drugs over a long period of time. Now, microchips is experimenting right now with using these implantable microchips that can go under a woman's skin and will release the hormone, the actual birth control hormone, for up to 16 years, which is pretty amazing.
Oh, my goodness.
And not only that, but these remote control implants, they're actually remote controlled implants. So let's say you have a woman gets the microchip implanted underneath her skin. It'll work for 16 years, and you could turn it on and off as needed by using a remote, which is really interesting. And I don't believe they're going to be making this like some kind of an app-based thing. I don't think you could just go on your iPhone and use an app to turn on your birth control.
Okay.
That might happen, but I think security is an issue when it comes to that kind of healthcare.
Sure. Interesting. So I would imagine that there are, what about if you're diabetic? Would you be able to use this microchip, for that as well?
I think that's what they're experimenting with right now. They're really working with a whole bunch of different kinds, and it looks like the digital pill might be one of the first things they go for.
Unbelievable. Now, speaking of pills, too, not to take it back to 3D printing, but have you been following the printing of pills?
I have heard about it. Tell me more about it.
Well, there's they use the plastic, or whatever you're using for adaptive printing. They actually have been working with a scenario where you could actually buy the filament that has the drug that you need kind of embedded into this, and it's consumable filament, and you would print the pills as you need it. But the cool thing is, just like when you go to the pharmacy, a lot of times the pills are 100 milligrams or whatever. The nice thing with printing pills is that they can give you the exact dosage you need. So you don't have to break a pill in half or try to figure out if you need to have 3/4 of it or whatever. They can just make it whatever size the doctor orders.
Oh, this is called the computer, right?
Sure.
I think I've heard of one of these. It's called the computer. It's CHEMPUTER, like computer.
Okay.
And it's like a 3D printer. It's exactly what you said, that you're going to be able to print out whatever pharmaceuticals you need at home and make it custom. That is really exciting.
That really is.
That maybe pharmacies would probably start using this first.
Well, I'm going to guess that's where it will start at, but there might be the time where you would just go in and buy the filament, and there might be an electronic prescription. This is how I envision it anyway. There's an electronic prescription that maybe gets loaded into your phone or what have you. You take it home with the doctor's prescription, and then your machine goes to work and prints your medication out for you. So that's where I see that going.
And another thing too, you're talking about nanobots before, and I think the whole nanomedicine is going to be huge. I mean, it seems that they're working on nanotechnology that will be able to just directly bring you whatever you need, or be able to fix you just from these tiny particles that might come in the form of like a pill that you swallow, and it releases these tiny little nanobots in your body that help whatever kind of illnesses or issues that you have.
Yeah,
out there.
That technology is just mind. You think about it, it is Star Trek-ish. I mean, it really is, because obviously that was where this stuff was first talked about, and. Yeah. And it's just amazing that we're getting to the point where you're probably going to put nanobots in your body to mend bones and to cure cancer. I mean, it's amazing what's going on there.
definitely. I mean, between stem cells and nanotech and everything, the 3D printing, it's just amazing. And and before we go, I think we should definitely talk about how the deaf are hearing and the blind can see now.
Yes, we really need to talk on that because there's been some amazing developments there.
Yes, definitely. There's this hugely famous YouTube video. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called 29 Years Old and Hearing Myself for the First Time on YouTube.
I don't know if I had seen that, but I seen another video where a gentleman saw for the first time. So, but I'm sure a very similar experience.
They really are. They're so heartwarming. Every time I watch one of these videos of someone being able to either like a baby hearing for the first time, it's these new implants are allowing people to just literally just suddenly out of nowhere be able to see or experience these new sensations. It's incredible. It really is. Yes, the cochlear implant is this device that is helping people, the deaf, hear. And it's a surgical implant that goes in the middle of the ear, and it picks up sound through the ear canal, and that helps minimize background noise, and it gives you acoustic feedback. So this video has 22 million views, and it was uploaded in 2011. And it's so amazing to see this girl in this video. I have it on my website on futuristmm.com. You'll see this video of her. They turn on her cochlear. I can't even pronounce it. I think that's it.
It's cochlear is how it's pronounced.
For the first time, and it's amazing. It's definitely really, really interesting to see how people are able to hear out of nowhere. And then, yes, the bionic eye. What do you think about the bionic eye?
Well, it is very interesting, and I think that technology is just going to it's just going to get better and better and better. But right now, basically, it's an implant. And I think it goes into a set of glasses, correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and then they have this. It's transmitted wirelessly via a retinal implant from your glasses, and then you're able to see images and some colors and things. It's not like what you and I see, but it is giving vision to people who have never seen before. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes, and as we were talking about before, I think a couple of shows ago, we're talking about people that are choosing to become cyborgs. And while we see these type of technologies helping, the deaf hear and the blind see, but in different types of ways that we normally naturally experience, there are people that are seeking out these types of upgrades to our abilities to be able to perceive things that we can't normally see or feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Kate, a pleasure as always. We'll see you again or talk to you again next week. Everybody have a great week.